The Dallas Cowboys have completely ripped up their old defensive layout this offseason because the 2024 unit was an absolute statistical failure in down and distance efficiency. To patch the interior, the front office is tracking Jordyn Brooks' all-pro volume metrics from Miami and testing the market on Minnesota's Blake Cashman. But the real operational blueprint driving this big signing talks, a contract leak on an elite edge threat who just put up a 12-sack campaign. If you're enjoying the content, just hit that like button. It helps us more than you think. Thank you so much. The roster needs a proven high-volume tackler who can fill holes at linebacker, and a fresh ESPN breakdown from Schatz recommends Dallas as the most natural landing spot on earth for Miami Dolphins linebacker Jordyn Brooks. Brooks was a first-team All-Pro linebacker last season, leading the league with 183 total tackles and adding 3.5 sacks as a blitzer. Schatz wrote, "He would be a youthful addition for a team with a contending quality offense but a need at linebacker, perhaps the Bengals or the Cowboys." A 183 tackle clip with passing down utility changes the entire math for opposing coordinators. ESPN linking an All-Pro to Dallas usually means a front office leak testing the fan climate. Dallas would be getting a 28-year-old first-team All-Pro who went in the first round of the draft, matching the pedigree profile this front office values. The money part of this potential trade completely flipped once we crossed June 1st. If the Dolphins had cut or traded Brooks before that date, Miami'd have eaten over $5.8 million in dead cap charges on top of their record-setting $175 million in dead money they're already carrying this season, while only saving a minor $2.5 million in cap space. Post-June 1st, the math shifts because Miami can save his full $8.3 million salary, while the $5.8 million dead money hit rolls into their 2027 cap spend instead. Both of our projected starting linebackers, DeMarvion Overshown and D. Winters, are set to hit free agency right after this 2026 season, meaning the Cowboys would be dropping a big contract into an uncertain room. 7 linebackers on rookie deals is how you balance a top-heavy payroll. Introducing a heavy veteran contract completely disrupts the cost-controlled roster architecture that allows us to pay our premium stars. What's making the front office hesitate is the draft capital it's going to cost to get this done. Dallas already gave away their 2027 4th and 5th round picks in earlier trades, so giving up more picks in that range is going to completely gut our mid-round draft equity for a class that scouts say is loaded with elite talent. There's another linebacker option sitting out there on the market right now, and this guy doesn't come with any of that heavy contract baggage. Pro Football Focus NFL reporter Bradley Locker just threw Minnesota Vikings inside linebacker Blake Cashman onto his list of the top trade candidates available before training camps open up. The word around league circles is that the Cowboys could potentially acquire him for a cheap Day 3 draft pick. A Day 3 pick for a starting interior linebacker is standard market value. If Minnesota's looking to clear space, it's a minimal asset rest for Dallas that immediately stabilizes a high-exposure position. Cashman racked up an incredible 144 stops in just 13 games during the 2025 season, making it the 3rd consecutive year he blew past the 100-tackle mark. But it's also the 3rd year in a row where he sat out multiple games with injuries. He put up 106 tackles in 2023 and followed it with 112 in 2024. He's currently playing on that 3-year, $22.5 million deal he signed with Minnesota in March 2024, entering his final year with a base salary of $7.5 million. Locker's breakdown on PFF noted Cashman's overall grade dipped from 72.6 to 63.6, punctuated by a 48.6 coverage grade, but he was still a downhill player with a 7.7% run-stop rate and a 5.3% missed tackle clip. Since the Vikings drafted Jake Golday in the 2nd round and extended Eric Wilson, Cashman's days in purple appear numbered. DeMarvion Overshown's easily the most gifted linebacker returning, but his injury profile makes him volatile. The 48.6 coverage grade is a liability, but a 7.7% run-stop rate means he anchors the front. This trade is pure risk mitigation for a thin room. While we work on locking down the middle of the defense, we've also got to shift our eyes over to the offensive side of the ball, where another high-profile veteran playmaker's name is making major noise on the trade wire. A proposal from Dak Muse on X suggests sending a 2027 6th-round pick to the New Orleans Saints in exchange for veteran running back Alvin Kamara. On the surface, a late-round pick for a 5-time Pro Bowler sounds like easy value. Chasing old Pro Bowl resumes for late-round picks is a typical casual fan trap. A 6th-round pick is cheap, but the player's contract is the actual cost of acquisition that hits your balance sheet. Let's get one thing straight right out of the gate. Our front office can't go into a Kamara trade expecting to see the prime version of him. That elite player no longer exists in the same form. Javonte Williams is our undisputed starting running back, giving Dallas the physical between-the-tackles hammer this offense needs after a 1,201-yard campaign last year, so he owns the early downs. The first trade option is sending a 2027 6th-round pick and eating the entire remaining contract. Taking on an $11.5 million base salary for a rotational player at age 31 is mathematically irresponsible. The second option tweaks things. Dallas gives up a 2027 5th-round pick, and the Saints agree to pay down a big chunk of Kamara's salary. Using a 5th-round pick to force New Orleans to retain salary is the correct asset play. You spend minor draft capital to protect your liquid cap space during an active winning window. If the Saints subsidize a contract, you execute. If they don't, you walk away. A brand new report out of ESPN from Dan Graziano has identified another addition worth watching, naming the Cowboys as a logical trade suitor for Arizona Cardinals edge rusher Josh Sweat. The Cardinals would take on about $22 million in dead money, $5.505 million this year, and $16.155 million next year if they dealt him, which isn't a ton in today's market, but means the acquiring team would probably have to make it worth their while with the compensation, Graziano noted. New England and Dallas would make a lot of sense if Sweat were to be available. Arizona eating $22 million in dead cap over 2 seasons proved they're treating him as a distressed asset due to the locker room environment. Sweat wants long-term contract safety since he has 0 guaranteed money left after this season, and Dallas needs to exploit their timeline to minimize the draft compensation required to execute the transaction. Arizona's beat reporter Kyle Odegaard reported earlier this offseason that Sweat is not happy in Arizona. Sweat spent his first year with the Cardinals in 2025 during a losing season, and there is little reason to expect the situation to change in 2026. NFL Network's Ian Rapoport has reported that the Cardinals have no intention of trading Sweat, but a player's unhappiness has a way of accelerating conversations. Our edge rusher room has talent with Rashawn Gary, Malachi Lawrence, and Donovan Ezerauku, but Gary went without a sack from Week 9 onward in 2025, and the rookies are unproven. Sweat offers documented production, posting 8 or more sacks in 3 of the past 4 seasons, including a career-best 12 sacks in 2025. Sweat would likely cost a 3rd-round pick or less. A 3rd-round pick for a double-digit sack asset is an efficient use of draft capital that directly impacts the win column. Don't forget, like and subscribe to join our fan base and stay up to date. Let's grow stronger with Cowboys. Until next time.